All right, I think we're live. I'm using some new software today just to test it out. So I hope we're live, and I hope you can hear me because it's raining quite a lot outside. So if you do happen to be here, hit the like button. Let me know that you're here. Say hello, drop me a comment. Let me know that you can hear me okay. And we shall roll with today's episode. It's going to be a short one, a couple of minutes at the most. And the topic is comparison. For most of us, it's human nature to compare ourselves to others. It's something that we do naturally. It's a psychological thing that everybody has. We want to see how we stack up against our peers, anyone who's in our world. And sometimes it can be helpful because it allows us to see where we're at, comparable to everybody else. It lets us see this is where we are. But more often than not, we're unable to remain objective in our comparisons. The ego kicks in and we start to judge ourselves, or we start to judge the subject of our comparison. And then all of a sudden we start to feel things. And that can hold us back massively, and it can create problems. It's one of the biggest pitfalls of comparisons, because on one hand, we can think we're better than the person we're comparing ourselves to, and that can make us think, oh, actually, we're doing enough. I'm better than this person, so I don't need to keep going. I can slow down, or I can stop what I'm doing. The act of simply being better than this person, based on our worldview, means we don't have to get any better. We're okay as we are. But on the flip side of that, we can, compare ourselves to somebody who may seem to be further along than where we are, and we can find ourselves feeling a whole lot less and a lot more discouraged about where we're at personally. Either way, it's not going to lead to progress. So you'll often hear the phrase, stay in your lane. And it's something that I think is a really valuable piece of advice, because when you work on becoming better than you were yesterday, the day before, you'll eventually reach a point where you can objectively look at others and find a way to use what they're doing to continue your own growth. But until you reach that point, you're better off putting your energy on yourself and staying in your own lane and creating your own progress, your own forward momentum, instead of constantly looking at what's in the lane next to you and wondering whether you are better, whether you are worse, how you measure up. It's a lot of energy to waste. It's valuable energy that could go on yourself, on your own journey, and getting you to the point where you can actively observe other people without becoming consumed in your observations. And what I like to do when we find that place and we can start to look at things a little bit more objectively, when we have reached a level of self-awareness and self-acceptance that we can look at other people and not, feel fearful or put off by what they're doing, we can start to use contrast instead. We can create contrast by finding the differences between you and them. And that's really useful because you can learn from it. And it's different to comparison. Comparison is a huge waste of energy, whereas contrast allows us to objectively see the differences and use them in a way that allows us to continue to grow. Because ultimately, we're at our best when we are unapologetically ourselves. And if we're being ourselves, we don't need to constantly compare to somebody who isn't us, because the comparison is redundant. That person is not us. And if we're at our best when we are ourselves, why would we want to try and be somebody else? And it's great to have people who we admire and people who we look up to. That's really useful. But if you can find a contrast with them rather than falling into the trap of comparison, you'll notice that it's a lot more useful, and there's a huge difference. So the lesson today is very short and very simple, much like me. You can save energy by staying in your lane, and we want to seek to find a contrast rather than a comparison. So save your energy, stay in your lane, and seek contrast over comparison. And you'll get a lot further than you would if you were constantly comparing to everybody else. So that's everything for this week. Like I said, short today, not taking up too much of your time. I will be back next week. But it's worth also noting that the 7-day upgrade is opening up again from Thursday. So if you want to join us for that, you want to get yourself moving forward, learn how to get out of your chaos, find some clarity, and start to create something better for yourself, then drop yes into the comments and I will send you the link to register for that event. I'm sure you're going to see lots of bits around that soon anyway. But if you know you're in, you want to crack on, move forward, start making some progressions yourself and stop comparing to everybody else, let me know and I will hit you with the link for that. So that's it for this week. Have a wonderful day and I will see you all very soon.